Now, you may not think of it this way, but I think we as people love to control things. Now, again, you may not see yourself as a big control freak, but you love to control the things around you if you're anything like me. I mean, right here in this home, I love to control the temperature of my house, right? During the winter, I make sure the heat is on so it can be right at the perfect temperature. And then during the summer, when it's a little hot outside, I turn the air conditioner on, I can control the heat. I control things like what I eat, so I'm sure I'm eating properly so I don't gain weight. I control the intake as well as the type of food I eat. I control my drives, right? Because I know when rush hour is, and so I do the best I can to control not being on the road at certain times, if at all possible. I control what I watch on TV, right? I mean, we have these wonderful little devices called remote controls where we can sit right here in our lazy boy and push the button and we can control what we watch. We can control the type of programming we watch. And now with wonderful things like Netflix and Hulu and all the different streaming channels, we can choose what we watch when we watch it. I mean, remember back in the day when you missed a show and how brokenhearted you were and you just hoped you could catch it on the rebound? We love to control things. I mean, even Melanie likes to control which birds come to her bird feeder because she really does not like the blackbirds. And I've seen her get up out of her chair and go over and clap her hands to control the birds. In all fairness, I do set the timer on my coffee pot so that I can control when that coffee comes on, and when I wake up in the morning, I can drink my coffee. So you see what I mean? We love to control things. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have control. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting to control things in our lives. But what happens when we can't? What happens when things simply get out of control? Have you been there? Man, I know I have been there. And when things feel out of control, it can change our whole outlook on life. It can change our relationships. It can change our internal feelings. It can also change our faith. Again, I think oftentimes I turn to the Psalms to hear how some folks talked about them working through normal places of life, having trust in God. And I wanted to read a psalm that I've read before, but rather than reading it out of my normal Bible, I wanted to read this out of a different translation. It's called the Passion Translation. It's kind of a paraphrase of the New Testament, and then the person that has worked on this, or the translators that have worked on this, have gone back and looked at some of the other passages as well, and soon they should have a whole scripture of this Passion Translation. So if you're familiar with Psalm 46, my favorite psalm, it's one that I often read when I feel like I'm just out of control. Hear how this interpreter writes their translation of Psalm 46. And listen to this idea of us letting go of our control and trusting God with our control. Psalm 46. God, you are such a safe place, a powerful place of refuge. You have proven help in times of trouble, more than enough and always available whenever I need you. So we will never fear, even if every structure of support were to crumble away. We will not fear even when the earth quakes and shakes, moving mountains and casting them into the sea. For the raging roar of stormy winds and crashing waves cannot erode our faith in you. God has a constant flowing a river whose sparkling streams bring joy and delight to his people. His river flows right through the city of God's Most High into the holy dwelling places. God is in the midst of his city, securing and never shaken. At daybreak, his help will be seen with the appearing of dawn. When the nations are in an uproar with their tottering kingdoms, God simply raises his voice and the earth begins to disintegrate before him. Here he comes, the commander, the mighty Lord of angels' armies is on your side. The God of Jacob fights for you. Look, everyone, come and see the breathtaking wonders of our God, for he brings both ruin and rival. He's the one who makes conflicts throughout the earth, breaking and burning every weapon of war. Surrender your anxiety. Be still and realize that I am God. I am God above all nations. I am the exalted throughout the whole earth. Here he stands, the commander, the mighty Lord of angel armies is on your side. The God of Jacob fights for us. I've always loved that line. Be still and realize that I am God. But I like what they've added here. Surrender your anxiety. Because that's what happens, doesn't it? When we start to lose control. We get anxious. We get worried. We wonder if God is really there. When you get like that, when you find yourself in a place where you feel completely out of control, perhaps pause. Read Psalm 46. Listen to the hope that is in that psalm. And in the end, do as the psalmist says, and be still and know that God is God.